Feeling frustrated or maybe even deflated because no matter what you do to your little one's hair, it just doesn't seem to be growing, retaining length, and you've been working so hard on their hair. Trust me, I've been there before and I know how disheartening that could feel. But don't worry, I've got you. Today we're diving deep into the real reasons why your little one's hair isn't retaining length and what you can do about it. Okay, mama, so a quick disclaimer. There could be so many reasons why your little one's hair isn't retaining length or you don't feel like it's growing. In today's video, I'm going to focus on the common culprits, the ones I've seen time and time again. And trust me, understanding these can make so much difference. Okay, mama, so let's start with the big one, nutritional deficiencies. Things like low vitamin D and iron can really impact hair growth. For example, in several videos back, I shared about my niece's hair breakage and how she wasn't able to retain length. Her mother, my sister, she wasn't able to see that length retention that she wanted to see. Of course, she made some mistakes here and there when it came to the hair care side of things. But funny enough, we found out later that my niece actually was deficient in iron. Okay, so my sister followed that video. I'm going to link it up in the iCard, but she followed that video, all of my tips and advice for her, but we still wasn't seeing that length retention or the growth that we had hoped for despite her efforts. So I said to her, because I also noticed some signs, she started to get some dark circles under her eyes and some other things. So I said to my sister, look, you're doing everything you need to do hair care wise. When it comes to hair growth, it's not rocket science, okay? Hair is growing, and if it's not growing, there must be a reason for this. So I said to my sister she should go to the GP, our general practitioner, and get blood works done for my niece. And lo and behold, when she did that, we found out that my niece was deficient in iron. So of course they prescribed the right dosage that she needed to bring her iron levels back to where they're supposed to be. And now my niece's hair is flourishing. I'm actually going to do an update soon on how her hair is doing, but her hair is flourishing now, you know. So make sure your little one's getting a balanced diet, or if that doesn't seem to be helping, go and see your little one's doctor, GP, and ask them for a blood test to see if there could possibly be any deficiencies, and if so, they will be able to provide some supplements. So mamas, don't be afraid to do this. Sometimes we need answers, and the answers aren't in products, or it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but we need to find out what is going on internally so that we can fix what's happening internally and finally see that growth that I know you want to see. Remember, healthy body equals healthy hair. The next reason is that you don't understand your little one's hair type. What do I mean when I say that? I mean, you don't fully understand what you're working with. You haven't taken your time to observe and understand the unique characteristics of your little one's hair. If you don't understand the basic needs of your little one's hair, how are you supposed to care for it? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be so difficult. So hair type matters, and I'm not talking about 4B, 4C, or porosity. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about understanding the characteristics of your little one's hair. For example, does your little one have high density hair but fine strands? If this is the case, you want to use lighter products to avoid weighing down their hair because they have those fine strands. Now, because they have high density hair, of course, they have a lot of these fine strands, you're probably going to want to use more product, but lighter products. They have more hair, so you're going to use more products, but lighter products and not heavy products because they have fine strands. Does that make sense? You also might want to skip extensions, heavy extensions, extensions that are tight. You want to avoid tight styles in general because their strands are fine and delicate and more likely to break off easier than someone who has, for example, thick strands. So knowing your little one's hair type will also help you to understand how to style their hair or what kind of protective styles work better for their hair. Knowing your child's hair type will help you pick the right products, choose the right techniques when it comes to handling their hair, and that can make a big difference in terms of, you know, growth, length retention, moisture retention, and just the overall health of your little one's hair. You know, another reason why you may not be seeing growth with your little one's hair, or should I say length retention, is because of inconsistency. You know, I always talk about consistency being one of the keys to seeing consistent results. You know, I understand that life is busy. We're all busy. I completely understand, trust me. I'm a mom and I have 4 kids. I have a husband, I have a business. I'm busy, so I really do understand when you tell me that you're busy. But if you're not consistent with your little one's hair, it is going to show. It is going to show eventually, whether that is not being consistent when it comes to washing or, you know, moisturize your little one's hair. You've got to find a routine that works for you and your little one and stick with it and do it consistently to see consistent results. Mamas, ask yourself, what is your why? This is going to help you to become consistent. I've shared what my why is many times. I don't want my children to go through the trauma I went through growing up with natural hair. I don't want my children to have any confidence issues when it comes to their natural hair. I don't want my children to hate their hair. I don't want my children to, you know, relax their hair because they feel like their own hair that grows out of their scalp, you know, that God created, isn't manageable or is ugly or anything like that. You know, I want my children to love their hair and themselves unapologetically. You know, I want to change my children's hair story because I've shared my hair story already. I want to create new generational cycles. Do you know what I mean? So that is my why. What is your why? When you remember that, it's easier to stay disciplined because it's more than just hair. You will stay disciplined and keep going even when you don't feel like it, because of course you're human. There will be times, like there are times for me, when I don't feel like doing my children's hair, but I've become disciplined. Focus on length retention rather than growth. Now let's talk about looking for growth in all the wrong places. Just like how some of us look for love in all the wrong places, we're also looking for growth in all the wrong places. So many of us get caught up in products, oils or potions or magic growth oils, thinking that they're going to magically grow your little one's hair. But here's the truth, mamas. Growth is usually not the issue. A breakage is. Hair growth is largely genetic. So in terms of the speed, how fast your little one's hair is growing, that's mainly genetic. But length retention, that's all about how you minimize breakage and how you care for your little one's hair. So instead of obsessing over products and all the wrong things, focus on how you can minimize breakage and keep your little one's hair healthy. If you can switch that focus into that, minimizing breakage and keep your little one's hair healthy, you'll be on the right track to seeing that length retention. Okay, mamas, before we continue, if your little one's hair is always dry, no matter what you do or what you use, I understand and I know how frustrating that could be, but I've got you as always. I want to invite you to my 5-day live moisture retention challenge via Zoom. It is taking place on the 27th of September. So that is tomorrow, Friday at 9 p.m. GMT. In just 5 days, I'm going to give you all the knowledge you need to be able to stop the dryness and transform your little one's hair with just 5 simple steps that will help to hold on to moisture for days. So if you're interested in joining this 5-day live challenge, click the link in the description box below and I will see you there. Okay, mama, so the next thing is protective styling. And protective styling can be a double-edged sword. Yes, they can help to retain length if they are done correctly, but back-to-back styles, especially those that cause a lot of tension or involve extensions, can actually encourage or break off your little one's hair. It's all about balance, mamas. Choosing the right styles and then giving your little one's hair a break in between, and also not forgetting about their hair when it's in a protective style. Don't neglect their hair when it's in a protective style, because once you take that protective style out, it's gonna be a hot mess. It's gonna be dry, it's gonna be tangly, and it's gonna break. You know, too much tension or too much of the wrong protective styles can lead to unnecessary breakage, and we want to avoid that, especially if our goal is, you know, healthy hair that retains length. The next thing, mamas, is rough handling your little one's hair. This is a major issue. Some of you don't even realize that you're being so rough with your little one's hair. A lot of your children don't even have tender scalps. The issue is that you're too rough when it comes to handling their hair. So whether that's washing their hair, whether that's detangling their hair, or even moisturizing their hair, improper techniques can cause tangles, can cause breakage. So for example, when detangling your little one's hair, always make sure that you're not detangling their hair when it's dry. Be sure that their hair is damp or wet with conditioner. A conditioner has a good amount of slip that is going to provide combability and ease when you're detangling. You also want to detangle their hair from the ends and working your way up. I would even go an extra mile and say, before you even use any tools, make sure that you use your fingers first. That's what I do. Use your fingers first, and then you want to use a tool like a brush or a wide tooth comb. You know, a good conditioner is going to make the process so much smoother. I like to personally detangle my children's hair when their hair is wet with a good conditioner that has silicones in it. That provides a lot of slip and just makes my life a whole lot easier, and you know, I'm able to detangle my children's hair without causing any breakage. And also, when you're moisturizing your little one's hair, be sure to moisturize in sections to ensure that you're covering all areas. You know, previously when I shared about my niece's hair breakage, I showed you those areas that had broken off. Sister wasn't moisturizing her hair, my niece's hair, in sections, and because she wasn't doing this, she was missing certain spots, and those areas that she weren't covering broke off. That's really, really important that you're not just moisturizing the top layer, but also in between. So work in sections always. Another thing is using the wrong products or using products for the wrong reasons. That can be a major setback for your little one's hair. So for example, butters and oils and grease are great. You know that I incorporate that into my children's moisture routine. But for some of you, you're just using butters, oil, and grease, and that is it. A lot of your little one's hair will thrive if you incorporate conditioning. So I'm talking leave-ins, I'm talking deep conditioners, I'm talking cream. They all have conditioning agents in them. So you know, when we talk about, you know, moisturized hair, what we really mean is that we want hair that is soft. We want hair that's smooth. We want hair that's conditioned, hair that isn't dry, hair that feels nice, hair that has sheen. This is what we mean when we talk about moisturized hair. So moisturized hair, the term isn't actually the right term to use according to science. What we want is conditioning. You know, we want conditioning. That's what we actually mean, and we're going to get that from using conditioning products. So for example, when you're doing the LCO method, which I've shown you before, you know, you use a liquid, you spritz your little one's hair with water first. That's really just to help reset your little one's style or hair, or make the hair flexible or easier to manipulate. And then you add, for example, your leave-in conditioner or your cream, and then you add like a grease, butter, or oil last to help hold on to moisture, which is the water content in our hair. But doing that combination of layering of products really gets the best results. Help your little one's hair to retain moisture, and if they are retaining moisture, if the hair is soft, smooth, conditioned, they're going to retain length. So choosing the right types of products for your little one's hair, and not just relying on, you know, oils and butters. We need the whole works when it comes to their regimen. We need products that's going to help us accomplish different things in their regimen. So here's a tough one, and that's the lack of knowledge when it comes to caring for your little one's hair. And mamas, I don't want you to feel bad or to blame yourself for not knowing how to care for your little one's hair, because there's a lot of mamas out there like this. I was once there myself. You know, when you have your little one, you know, when you're in a hospital and you have your little one, they're born, no one gives you a hair care guide or manual to take care of their natural hair, so you're not gonna know. And if your mother didn't teach you how to care for your natural hair when, you know, when you were younger, how are you supposed to care for your little one's hair? So it's not your fault, but there are resources out there, just like my YouTube channel, teaching you how to care for your little one's hair. So not knowing is fine, but to stay not knowing, that's not a good thing. Winging it may feel convenient, but the results will reflect that. You really need to learn to understand your little one's hair, like I've spoken about before. Take your time to research, even get a hair coach, for example, someone like me that can, you know, teach you and help you with certain areas that you're not sure of, or certain issues that are frustrating you or just stressing you out when it comes to a little one's hair. I'm here to help. You know, so taking time to research, learn, and then apply what you're learning. Trimming. Are you trimming your little one's hair too much? Or are you cutting your little one's hair off every time you think it's damaged or it's breaking or because of bald spots? Or thinking that if you cut your little one's hair, you're going to start over again, and or their hair is going to go thicker and longer just because you cut it? You know, sometimes we think cutting their hair or trimming their hair is going to solve all their hair problems, but over trimming and cutting off your little one's hair when you haven't actually changed anything when it comes to your knowledge about caring for your little one's hair can actually be a setback. So what am I saying? So for example, you'll trim your little one's hair every 2-3 months because a hairdresser has told you that you need to be trimming every 6 weeks or every couple of months. No, you need to trim your little one's hair when needed and not based on a schedule. And also when it comes to your little one's hair, if they're experiencing breakage or you don't like the way your little one's hair is, you know, growing or something, cutting off their hair doesn't actually solve anything. I mean, what is going to change after you cut their hair? You still have the same knowledge, you still have the same products. What exactly changes? And most of the time, nothing changes but the haircut. So if you are going to cut your little one's hair, be sure that you know what you're doing after the cut. Be sure that you have the right knowledge, the right types of products, the right techniques, the right regimen, all of that good stuff before you actually cut your little one's hair, instead of just setting them back again and again and again. You know, and I'm not saying that trimming isn't important. Trimming is important, but only when your little one's hair needs it. So for example, with my eldest daughter, I tend to trim her hair about twice a year now. If her hair needs to be trimmed more than that, I would trim more than that, but for now, twice a year is what works for her hair. The other thing is not washing or moisturizing your little one's hair regularly. This could really set your little one's hair back because their hair is dirty, it has a lot of build-up, then they're going to experience dryness, and all of this is going to lead to breakage. So if you're not moisturizing when their hair needs moisturizing, their hair isn't going to feel soft, it's going to feel dry, it's going to be hard to manipulate, it's going to break off. All of these things isn't going to help with length retention. Mamas, don't forget, if your little one's hair is always dry, no matter what you do or what you use, join my 5-day live moisture retention challenge, mamas. In these 5 days, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to stop the dryness when it comes to little one's hair and help their hair to thrive with simple steps that will help their hair to retain moisture for days. So all you have to do is click the link below this video. It's taking place on the 27th of September, which is tomorrow at 9 p.m. GMT via Zoom. You don't want to miss this. Click the link below this video and sign up, and I'll see you there. So the other thing is over manipulation. So constantly combing, styling, manipulating your little one's hair, this can cause unnecessary breakage. So for example, when it comes to my children, I only detangle my children's hair. So use a brush or comb through their hair on wash day. So that is every 2 weeks. Outside of that, I'm not using any combs or anything like that in their hair. I'm just using my fingers if I need to detangle their hair. And this has been a game changer when it comes to length retention for my children's hair. Only detangling their hair thoroughly with tools on wash day. The less you mess with your little one's hair, the better, trust me. I mean, who's got time to always be doing their little one's hair? I mean, I don't. I really don't. During the week for school, their hair is in plaits or twists or in some kind of tension-free protective style, and that is it. I don't do anything to their hair. Maybe in the evening, I may like brush, add a little bit of you know, leave-in conditioner or something, and just brush their hairline, put their satin or silk scarf on, and in the morning take it off, and that's it. That's the only manipulation I'm doing to their hair. I'm not fussing or doing anything to their hair during the week until it is a wash day. The less you mess with it, the better. So mamas, check out the video shown right now on the bottom left hand corner of the screen for more tips and tricks on how to care for your little one's hair so that it thrives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Take care. Bye.